Debri Hayamim Bet, chapter 34. Yoshiyahu was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 31 years in Yerushalayim, and he did what was right in the eyes of Yah, and walked in the ways of his father Dawid, and did not turn aside right or left. In the 8th year of his reign, while he was still young, he began to seek the Elohim of his father Dawid. And in the 12th year, he began to cleanse Yehuda and Yerushalayim from the high places and the Asherim, and carved images and the molded images. And they broke down the slaughter places of the Baals in his presence, and the sun pillars which were above them he cut down. And the Asherim and the carved images and the molded images he smashed and ground them up, and strewed it on the surface of the burial sites of those who had slaughtered to them. And he burned the bones of the priests on their slaughter places, and cleansed Yehuda and Yerushalayim, and in the cities of Manasseh and Ephraim and Shimon, as far as Naphtali, and their ruins all around. And he broke down the slaughter places and the Asherim, and ground the carved images into dust, and cut down all the sun pillars throughout all the land of Israel, and returned to Yerushalayim. And in the 18th year of his reign, when he had cleansed the land in the house, he sent Shaphan, son of Atzaliahu, and Maaseyu, the head of the city, and Yoah, son of Yoahaz, the recorder, to repair the house of Yah, his Elohim. And then they went to Hilkiyahu, the high priest, and they gave the silver that was brought into the house of Elohim, which the Levites who kept the doors had gathered from the hand of Manasseh and Ephraim, and from all the remnant of Israel, and from all Yehuda and Benjamin, in which they had brought back to Yerushalayim. And they gave it in the hand of the workmen, those appointed over the house of Yah. And they gave it to the workmen who worked in the house of Yah to repair and strengthen the house. And they gave it to the craftsmen and to the builders to buy hewn stone and timber for couplings and for beams for the houses, which the servants of Yehuda had destroyed. And the men did the work trustworthily, and over them were appointed Yahath and Obadiahu, the Levites, of the sons of Merari, and Zechariah and Meshulam, of the sons of the Kehathites, to oversee, and of the Levites, all of whom were skilled in instruments of song, and over the burden bearers, and overseers of all who did work in any kind of service. And of the Levites were scribes and officers and gatekeepers. And they brought out the silver that was brought into the house of Yah. Hilkiyahu the priest found the book of the Torah of Yah given by Moshe. Then Hilkiyahu responded and said to Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the Torah in the house of Yah. And Hilkiyahu gave the book to Shaphan. And Shaphan brought the book to the sovereign, and brought the sovereign word, saying, All that has been given into the hand of your servants they are doing. And they have poured out the silver that was found in the house of Yah, and have given it into the hand of those appointed and the workmen. And Shaphan the scribe informed the sovereign, saying, Hilkiyahu the priest has given me a book. And Shaphan read it before the sovereign. And it came to be, when the sovereign heard the words of the Torah, that he tore his garments. And the sovereign commanded Hilkiyahu, Ahikam, son of Shaphan, and Abdon, son of Micah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Asaiah, a servant of the sovereign, saying, Go inquire of Yah for me, and for him who is left in Israel and in Yehuda, concerning the words of the book that is found. For great is the wrath of Yah that is poured out on us, because our fathers have not guarded the word of Yah, to do according to all that is written in this book. Then Hilkiyahu and those of the sovereign went to Huldah the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, son of Tokhath, son of Hasrah, keeper of the wardrobe, who was dwelling in Yerushalayim in the 2nd quarter, and they spoke to her about this. And she said to them, Thus said Yah, Elohim of Israel, say to the man who sent you to me, Thus said Yah, see, I am bringing evil on this place and on its inhabitants, all the curses that are written in the book, which have been read before the sovereign of Yehuda, because they have forsaken me and burned incense to other mighty ones, to provoke me with all the works of their hands. Therefore my wrath is poured out on this place, and is not quenched. And to the sovereign of Yehuda, who sent you to inquire of Yah, say this to him, Thus said Yah, Elohim of Israel, whose words you have heard, Because your heart was tender and you humbled yourself before Elohim when you heard his words against this place and against his inhabitants, and you humbled yourself before me, and you tore your garments and wept before me, I also have heard, declares Yah. See, I am gathering you to your fathers, and you shall be gathered to your burial site in peace, so that your eyes will not see all the evil that I am bringing on this place and its inhabitants. So they brought back word to the sovereign, and the sovereign sent and gathered all the elders of Yehuda in Yerushalayim. And the sovereign went up to the house of Yah with all the men of Yehuda and the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, and the priests and the Levites, and all the people, both great and small. And he read in their hearing all the words of the book of the covenant which had been found in the house of Yah. And the sovereign stood in his place and made a covenant before Yah, to follow Yah and to guard his commands and his witnesses and his laws with all his heart and all his being, to do the words of the covenant that were written in this book. And he made stand all who were present in Yerushalayim and Benjamin, and the inhabitants of Yerushalayim did according to the covenant of Elohim, the Elohim of their fathers. And Yoshiyahu removed all the abominations from all the lands that belonged to the children of Israel, and made all who were present in Israel diligently serve Yah their Elohim. All his days they did not turn away from following Yah, Elohim of their fathers.